Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to work with a new to me product. We're going to work with oil paint sticks that are water soluble. You know, I love my oil sticks and I love my pastels, and I think I just really love drawing media, but we'll get into that in a moment. First, what we're doing here is sketching on our canvas. This is a stretch canvas. I think it's 10 by 10, and I'm using just any old colored pencils to sketch on. I really like to use colored pencils for sketching under oil paint because it just kind of merges in and you don't have like graphite lines or anything when you're done. If you would like a real-time version of this tutorial, you can find it up right now in Critique Club. Critique Club is $5 a month, and once you join, you have access to every single tutorial I have posted there over the last 6 years. They are real-time, long tutorials that are broken up into bite-sized chunks so that you can easily digest everything. You can easily break it up over a couple of days each lesson if you want to, and I cover a variety of media. So if you're like me and you love to work in a bunch of different things, Critique Club is probably a good fit for you. But of course, you know, $5 a month. If you don't like it, you can cancel anytime, and I'll have a link in the video description so you can check it out if you want to. So after I got my pencil sketch in there, my colored pencil sketch, I decided to go in and just block in with these water-soluble oil paint sticks. Now these are the Soho brand, sold at Jerry's Artorama, and I want to send big thanks out to my friend Ophelia who gifted me this set of 24. And the neat thing about at Jerry's Artorama, you can actually buy individual sticks. You don't have to just buy a set because you might not need all the colors, or you might just want to try out a few. And I think that's totally reasonable because in the set, there are several colors that are very similar to one another, and you probably don't need all of them. And I know that I'll probably use up certain colors first and need to replace them. So having that open stock availability is really nice. I think the open stock sticks are around $5 a piece. And I think the set of 24 plus a colorless blender is around $70 if I'm remembering correctly. But I'll have links to both Jerry's Artorama and Amazon where you can find those if you're curious. It always pays to shop around. That's what I say. But I found that the colors blended pretty well. It does take a little bit of time to get these started. You can see I'm kind of taking a little extra wrapper off that one right there. But I will have a full review on these, and I'll show you how to get them started because we're going to unbox them and get them going and swatch them out and all of that. But I don't really think you need to swatch them because it's kind of what you see is what you get when you're looking at the pigment itself, just like when you're using pastels. Oh, and speaking of pastels, if you've got oil pastels and you want to do this with oil pastels, you totally can. In fact, I think you could do this with soft pastels without too much translation needed. So honestly, use what you have. I'm definitely kind of getting to the max saturation in my studio situation myself. And I'm like, girl, you need to step away from the online ordering because you need to use what you have. So oil pastels would probably be the best substitute, I would say. I probably wouldn't work on a stretch canvas if I was using oil pastels. I'd probably work on a clear gessoed board or pastel paper. Actually, there's a really great pastel paper if you like using oil pastels called Canson XL Sand Grain, and I get that at Blick. They have better prices than Amazon, and I'm not sure if Jerry's sells it. But anyway, you get 40 sheets in a pad for under $10, and that is my favorite oil pastel paper currently. So I would just tape a sheet of that down and get to work because that's going to work great. And honestly, using oil pastels in this manner would work perfectly. So the oil paint sticks are bigger than an oil pastel. They're kind of chunky, so you're not going to get a ton of detail with this, but you can scribble the oil pastel onto a palette and pick it up with thin it down with some water, or you could use some water mixable linseed oil. You could use regular linseed oil for that matter, but you're going to then have to clean your brushes with solvents because you're going to lose that water mixability. So if you're someone who loves to use linseed oil, I would recommend getting a water mixable version just so you have that. So you have that option. But this is pretty much what we would call painted alla prima, meaning well, it wasn't all at once. It was over the course of 2 days, but we didn't really have a huge amount of drying time. And I actually, for my second layer, went in with water mixable oil paints. But like I said, you could scribble it onto a palette. Now, I don't know if that's going to give you as much of the same results as I had by using oil paints on top because these aren't as buttery as oil paint. And I find that to be the same when I'm using traditional oil paint sticks as well. Rather than getting some on a palette. I'd rather just get some paint, I think. But you do have that option. So I wanted to point that out there. But we're still in the blocking in oil paint stick phase. And you can see it's looking pretty rough, but your first layers always look rough. You know, you've got to get through that hot mess stage before you get to the beauty in the painting. And I am so thrilled with how this came out. I hope I'm still thrilled with it when I look back like in a day or two at it, because sometimes it's one or the other. I'm telling you, it's either I am in love with the painting, it's like the best thing I ever did, I'm so happy with it, and I take a picture of it and I post it on Instagram, and then I look at it and I'm like, oh, and then I find all of the mistakes. It's either that, or I just think it's the worst thing I've ever done, and I'm not going to show it to anybody, and I don't even take a picture of it, and I leave the studio, and I come back the next day, and like the shoemaker's elves have come in and fixed it, and it's beautiful. It's one or the other. I don't know. It's like the Dunning-Kruger effect. We either, it's the Dunning-Kruger effect. I think that's when people who are really good at something don't realize how good they are, and people that are terrible at something think they're much better than they are. It's like the more you know you don't know, I guess. I don't know if that correlates, but anyway, right now I finished painting this today and I'm just thrilled. I hope I still am by the time this video goes up tomorrow. But it was fun. Regardless, you know what? Regardless of how the painting comes out, they're really fun to paint with. So here's a little thing. When you're going over with the oil pastels on top of other paint, like I was with a white, you're going to get the pastel or the paint stick dirty, just like you would with a oil pastel. So with an oil pastel, you just wipe it off, right? With a paint stick, if you're not going to use that color again, I think I would just let the paint dry, because it's going to form a skin that you're going to have to remove the next time you go to paint. Unless you're using them every day, you're going to have to wipe that skin off the end, and it's just wasted paint, right? So I'm not as fastidious about cleaning off my oil paint sticks as I am my oil pastels. I used my regular old oil paint brushes for this. I suppose you could use silicone blending tools. However, I think you might as well just get in there with the brushes, because you're going to be needing to add a little water to smooth them out a bit, and especially if you want to really fill the grain of the canvas and whatnot. It's funny, look how much darker the painting looks now that I have that white palette next to me. So the water-soluble oils I'm using are the Berlin line, and they are also by Jerry's Artorama. Well, they're actually by Lucas, but Jerry's Artorama sells them in the United States, and they have a pretty good price on them. It's funny, the first water-soluble oil paints I ever used was the Winsor and Newton Artisan water mixable oils, and I think they might have been the ones that invented them, because they're the first that I was ever aware of. And to me, they felt very gummy and very transparent and almost kind of sticky. And that's how I felt these water-soluble oil sticks felt. At first I was like, ooh, it took me a while to get used to them, because I'm like, these, especially when I was swatching them out at first and adding water to see how water mixable or water soluble they were. And some of the colors were very difficult to wash out. And they gave me that vibe of the Winsor Newton Artisan oils, because I tried those and I'm like, nope, water mixable oils are not for me. And then it was a few years later, I tried the Berlin, and I really liked them. I liked them so much that I actually did a signature set with Jerry's Artorama with the Berlin oils, because I just loved that they're so easy to wash up. They were so affordable. They mix so well. They're light, fast, just beautiful paints. So those are my favorites. I'm sure there are other ones that are just as good. I just haven't had experience with them, because if you find a paint that you like, sticking with it is honestly the most affordable option, even if it's not the cheapest paint. If you stop when you find something you like and just stick with it, that will save you money over trying everything, which with me in watercolor, I have to try everything in sketchbooks. And I'm also using that little frosty thing you're seeing at the bottom of my page, the screen. That is an armrest. It's called actually an artist bridge, and I just got that to try out from Craft Stash. It's a little flimsy, to be honest. It's kind of flexible. I think you could just take some wood and make one, and it's going to work just as well, except you won't be able to see through it. I haven't taken the protective film off of it yet, because I'm like, I'm just going to get it dirty. I might as well leave it on. I would just make one out of wood, honestly. I know that's probably not the best thing to do to say when a company sends you a product, but honestly, it's just a little too flexy for me. But it worked fine. But I wouldn't want to be leaning my weight on it. And if you have like a fatigue or some disability where you need to lean on it and you need it to support the weight of your arm, I think it's going to flex and bump into your canvas or your paper. Maybe not your paper, but a stretch canvas where it's like 3/4 of an inch thick. Yeah, I think that could happen. I was very cognizant not to lay my weight on it when I was doing this. So I've got the water mixable oils out. I am just kind of trying to lay down an economy of brush strokes because I really like, and especially if I'm doing an oil painting kind of all in one go, I like to see those visible brush strokes. I'm not looking to blend everything out smooth. This painting is not very big, so I'm not going to really want to get in there and get a ton of detail and get a ton of blending and smoothness. I'm kind of going more for an alla prima look. And if you like this look, I actually have a class called 30 Days to Better Painting where we do 30 paintings in 30 minutes. So you do a painting a day. Each painting is 30 minutes. And that is a wonderful class to get in the habit of painting every day if you like to use oils or gouache or acrylics. That's meant for layerable paints, like more opaque paints. So if you use those three mediums, I do 10 each, 10 projects in each medium, but you can use any of those mediums for all of them. But that's the class that may be of use to you if you're just needing something, like maybe you're doing a New Year's resolution and you're like, I want to paint every single day. I need to get in the habit. 30 Days to Better Painting. I also have 30 Days to Better Watercolor if you just want to do watercolors. So both of those courses are available in my Teachable School. I'll link them down below. And you can check them out if you are looking for something like that to get into the good habit of painting every day. But anyway, this did not take 30 minutes. This took about 2 hours. I want to be completely frank. So I broke this up into about, 25-minute chunks. So, if you wanted to take a week to do this painting, you absolutely could. It would work out. That would work out fine. You could let it dry in between. You just want to let your layers get thicker as you go. That's the fat over lean rule. Basically what that means is you don't want to put layers down and then like your last layer have it really thin down with a solvent, because if the layers underneath aren't dry but the top layer dries, that's when you get cracking. But if you're doing it over a couple of days, I don't think that would be enough. It's more if you're like letting it, you're working it over weeks and stuff. But if you were going to do that a lot, I definitely would recommend getting a water-soluble linseed oil or something like that. Or a slow drying medium or glazing medium so that you can have those fatter layers on top. But I tend to paint more these days, especially, although I would like to have a large painting going. I think I need to think about that, something that I could commit to and do a large painting and have that on my easel so I could just putter away at that when I have a moment. But we all have to work on our habits. I'm working on the habit of drawing in the evening when I watch TV, because in the winter when the days are so short and it's like night from like 4 p.m. until 10, it's like you can just lose the evening so quickly. So I'm getting in the habit of just drawing at night. On the couch while I have the TV on. I don't want to go downstairs where it's cold. I just want to be cozy by the fire. And we all need help with our habits from time to time. So even somebody who does it for a living. So anyways, I love finding stuff like that can make your habits work a little bit easier. Of course, you could always just pick a YouTube tutorial every day and do that. There's nothing wrong with that, and that's free. But if you do want something that's a little bit more geared to 30 minutes a day for 30 days, those courses are where it's at for that, in my opinion. I mean, I'm biased. I designed them. But anyway, so I'm just putting in some details here. I'm using small synthetic rounds. The synthetic rounds I really like for oil paints are the Royal and Langnickel Fusion brushes, and you used to be able to get these at AC Moore really affordably. I think you can still get them at Blick. I recommend the pack of rounds and the pack of filberts because those are so handy for details in oils, and especially if you're using water mixable oils, very easy to clean up. If you're using traditional oils, you just clean them in solvents and then soap and water. But I use the same brushes whether I'm using water soluble oils or traditional oils, because oil paint is oil paint. There's the difference in water mixable oils between traditional oils is they have added an emulsifier to the paint, and this emulsifier is something that allows oil and water to bind. So if you're baking brownies, for instance, and you you put an egg in. The egg is your emulsifier. That makes the cooking oil stick to the water that you add to the mix, and it makes it all work together. If you leave out the egg, and I know this because I'm vegan and I end up frying my brownies when I try to use brownie mix and skip the egg, because it won't emulsify. I actually use never mind, I'm not going to get into cooking. But anyway, so you need that emulsifier for you to be able to rinse it out with water. And there are mediums that will do that. There's a product called Medium W, which I mean to order it so I can review it. I really want to try that. It's by Schminka. I have not used it, so I can't vouch for it. But that is basically designed to do that, to be the emulsifier between the water in your water pot and the oil in your oil paint. So if you looked at the chemical structure, which is kind of cool, you would see like the oil molecules, and the emulsifier would make the water stick to the oil molecule and make like a long chain or something, I guess. Science, isn't it fascinating? But anyway, that's the difference. That's the only difference. It's still oil paint. So you still need to treat your oily rags with caution. They're not all of a sudden magically non-flammable because it's water mixable. You still need to treat everything with the same care and caution as you would regular oil paint. And for me, that means I work downstairs in my studio, and I had the door shut because it's cold, and I had my space heater on, and it did seem a little fumey in there because of the linseed oil in the sticks, I'm sure, or whatever they use for the oil, but it smelled like oil paint. All of this to say. So now I'm just adding some little shadows on the plate. I tried to use about the same colors in the tube paint as I did in the sticks, even though they're from a different brand, and it worked fine. It was fine. Everything was cohesive. This painting is actually very vibrant, and it's kind of hard to film an oil painting tutorial because I have so many studio lights on from different angles and you get a lot of glare. But I was looking at this afterwards on my easel, and I'm like, man, that is such a vibrant painting, and I absolutely love it. I can't wait till it dries enough that I can hang it up in the kitchen next to my fish and chips oil stick painting I did with traditional oils. And as I was doing the background, I kind of thought, I should have collaged something in the background and then painted over that, because I loved doing that with the other oil sticks, because I don't know if like doing a really large covered area, especially with so many of the bolder colors being more translucent like that Prussian blue was, I don't know if that's the best use of the oil sticks. Whereas in the fish and chips video I did a few months ago, I washed down the oil stick and I did kind of like a wash over some deli paper, and I love the way that looked. So I think it's just going to take some experimenting, right? It's a new product to me, and this is the first painting I've done with them, and boy, I really, really enjoyed that. But like I mentioned, the oil sticks being a little bit on the translucent side, and I noticed that with oil paint, with the traditional oil sticks as well, you may want to get yourself a tube of white, at least white, water mixable oils, because I think you're going to use up the titanium white oil stick a little sooner. And plus, for those more opaque passages, actually I would recommend just a small pack of the Berlin oils to go with this, because they're just such a great companion and layer up. And I think that you get more value out of the sticks if you had the oils to go with them. But like I said, this is my first painting. I can't certainly say to be an expert on these. I'm learning just like you are, just like we all are. The day you stop learning as an artist, you might as well hang up your smock and your beret, because you're not going to be growing and you're going to burn out. You've got to always be growing or you will burn out. I don't know if you caught the wardrobe change in this video. I started off with a sweater that had no stains on it, and I'm like, I'm just tempting fate. I'm flying too close to the sun. I got to put on my studio sweater. And people comment on it sometimes, like the comforting wine sweater. If you ever get rid of that wine colored sweater, that's such a comforting thing to see. And it's my studio sweater, my smock sweater. I can't say it. My smock sweater. It's like I have a smock robe because it's cold downstairs, so I'll throw like an old robe on when I'm working downstairs sometimes. But yeah, just puttering around, adding those final highlight details. I did end up going in afterwards and added some dewdrops. I don't know, you can't really see it in the reference photo here that small, but there are little dewdrops on there, but I was kind of afraid of messing it up, so I didn't add it as part of the tutorial. It's kind of as an add-on at the end, but I do like how it came out. But this is how it looks in real life, nice and punchy and bright, and I just love it. I want to thank you so much for watching this tutorial today. Please check out Critique Club if you think you could enjoy a variety of media, long format tutorials, and thanks so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye!